Alright kids, today we're going to go over the lathe, what to look for when buying one, and how to use some of the basic functions. The lathe has two ends, the headstock which spins, the tailstock which stays still. So what the lathe is usually measured in is a between centres measurement, which is if there was a centre in this end and the tailstock was pushed back as far as it could go. It is the distance between there and there. On my lathe it's 22 inches. Another typical measurement of the lathe is what they call the centre height. Now generally speaking, they'll give a figure as a swing measurement when you're purchasing a lathe. Now the English generally refer to the swing as the distance between the centre point, where the centre would stand, to the bed, whereas typically now lathes will be given in the American style of measurement, which is the radius. So say a 7x14 hobby lathe, the Americans would refer to that as a 7x14, meaning it can turn a 7-inch radius, a 7-inch diameter, while in England or in the UK that would have traditionally been referred to as a 3.5x14, meaning that it had 3.5 inches between here and here. Some of the smaller lathes might have just 3 speeds, or perhaps a pulse width modulated DC motor, which means it may not have any gears at all. This one is a 6-speed gearbox. The spindle speeds are listed on this plate here, going from 140 revolutions per minute to 1710 revolutions per minute, and all the speeds in between. So I can just change these by adjusting these levers. Of course it's not like a car gearbox where it goes in smoothly. I actually have to sometimes work these in. So of course you've got to make sure that it's done while the machine is not in operation. So we've got it currently in speed number 2, which is 250 revolutions per minute. And we can just switch it between those gears depending on what work we're doing. One of the things this particular lathe is probably missing on is a gearbox to change the lead screw. This one has changeable gears, so I can change the rotation. I'm given a little table here and an assortment of change gears so that I can choose what speed I want the lead screw to be spinning at. It would be better, of course, if we had a gearbox like the one shown here to change the lead screw speed, but better features like that often just increases the cost. Oftentimes when you buy the lathe you may only get the centre, or even no centres at all. Now it's going to be pretty much essential that you buy centres, one that's going to fit your headstock, one that's going to fit your tailstock, whatever sizes they may be. If you're going to upgrade the machine, one of the things that I would very much recommend is a chuck that will fit your tailstock. This is a keyless chuck. I find this incredibly useful. I can drill holes in the work just using standard high-speed steel twist drills, and this is actually a 22mm twist drill. You've probably seen it on the other videos if you've seen them. I bought this specifically because it's the outside diameter of a standard 608ZZ skate bearing. I use them a lot because I can buy them wholesale. Probably the next thing I'd recommend as an upgrade is a 4-jaw chuck like this. Just be careful of any work that you've got chucked in there, that it's not going to hit the bed. Now I have this set of Carbide Tip Tools. These have replaceable tips, so when the tips actually break or crack, they can be replaced simply by undoing this very small Allen bolt, and they can be spun around. Each one can be used 4 times on a tool like this, or just replaced with a new one, which I keep inside this small plastic bag. The fact that we could learn how to grind our own tools as high-speed steel means that we could do any of these, make the tools double-ended, and also make custom one-off tools for a certain job. It's definitely a skill that I would recommend people to learn, and maybe we can cover that in the future. So we've covered most of the basics, so make sure you have fun while you're milling and keep safe.